category is favorite new issue of a title that was a Criterion Collection Laserdisc. Now, this category is essentially for those Criterion Collection titles that were Laserdiscs, but that were never ever released later on DVD or Blu-ray until this year. So there are, by my count, a total of 6 titles that were Criterion Collection Laserdiscs that were then introduced in the current Criterion Collection in 2018 as Blu-rays. So I want to go over those 6, and maybe I'll go over them in order of my favorite or my preference. So since there are 6, let's go with my number 6 favorite release of a new issue of a title that was a Criterion Collection Laserdisc. Number 6 is this one, which is Spy Number 938. This is Sex, Lies, and Videotape. Now, this is a fine film, and I really admire this film immensely. It is an extraordinary achievement, and it really makes one think about a great number of things. But I want to talk about this release for a minute. Now, this release is basically mirroring the Spy Number 108 Criterion Collection Laserdisc. Now, this is 108A, which is the CLV release, but let's focus on the CAV release, which is this. Okay, so this is the box set. There we go. And there we go. So as you can see, there is the Blu-ray and the former Criterion Collection Laserdisc of Sex, Lies, and Videotape. Now, I think that for the most part, the new Blu-ray is outstanding. There are new interviews, and there is a new documentary, and there are also some of the features that are here that are carried over. For example, a deleted scene, but there are new upgrades, and of course the image quality and the sound quality, I think, is very good on this Blu-ray. So in many respects, this is a fine new issue of a title that used to be a Criterion Collection Laserdisc. However, the one thing that I will say is that this Laserdisc, the Criterion Collection Laserdisc CAV release, had the short film by Steven Soderbergh called Winston. Unfortunately, the short film Winston is not included on this Blu-ray as far as I am aware. So that is a real shame, because Winston is a very interesting work, especially in the context of this film Sex, Lies, and Videotape. I'm not sure about the history of the release of this film on other labels, so it could be that Winston, the short film, is available through other means and is accessible relatively easily, and in which case that's perfectly fine. But again, I'm not privy to that information. All I know is what is on this Criterion Laserdisc, and I think that the short film Winston would have been a very nice supplement to the Criterion Blu-ray of Sex, Lies, and Videotape, because there is a lot of thematic similarity between that short film and the feature film here. So that's a shame that it's not included, but that shouldn't take away from the fact, generally speaking, that this release still is a fine release of an exceptional film, Sex, Lies, and Videotape. Next is my number 5, and my number 5 pick is this one, Midnight Cowboy. So this is Blu-ray Spy Number 925, and it's a classic, exceptional release, fine film, and the Laserdisc is here. This is Laserdisc Spy Number 146. So let's put it like so. There we go. Sorry about that. There we are. So that is the Laserdisc here, and that is the Criterion Collection Blu-ray. Now, the Laserdisc has an audio commentary with the director and the producer. And that is, well, it also has a photo gallery, and it has, the medium is the message, the scripting of details, and also video disc credits. So if we compare that to the disc here, the new Blu-ray, we have the same audio commentary with director and producer, and there's also a new video essay, and there's also a 1969 short film, and there's also a documentary from 1990 about Waldo Salt, A Screenwriter's Journey, and 2 short documentaries from 2004, and an interview with actor Jon Voight on the David Frost Show in 1970. So I would say for the most part, the supplements here are really outstanding, and I would say they outshine what's here. And also there's nothing that is essential here, I would say, that is missing from here. So I think that this is a fine release of this film on Blu-ray that is worthy of a release, and I think it respects the original Laserdisc release as well. So I say that this is a very fine new issue of a Criterion Collection Laserdisc title. So my number 5, Midnight Cowboy. Number 4, and number 4 is this film, Shampoo. So Shampoo is 947 right here, and the Laserdisc is Laserdisc spine number 79 right here. Now the Laserdisc has nothing in terms of special features, so that means that the Blu-ray should have a lot more special features, and it does. So it's a 4K digital restoration, and it has a new conversation between critics Mark Harris and Frank Rich, and an excerpt from a 1998 appearance by Warren Beatty on the South Bank Show, and also there is an essay by Frank Rich. So the essay is different because the essay on the back of this is by Danny Perry. So the contents are different. So I would say that the Blu-ray is a fine new issue of this title. I think this is really nice. There aren't a lot of special features, relatively speaking, but compared to the Laserdisc, this I think is plenty. And so this is a fine film. Incidentally, if you haven't seen this film, I recommend it strongly. It is quite an interesting film, and Warren Beatty is just excellent in this. So Shampoo, my number 4 favorite new issue of a Criterion Collection Laserdisc title. Number 3 is spine number 948, and this is The Princess Bride. And The Princess Bride was actually released on 3 separate Criterion Laserdiscs, believe it or not. So there is this first one, which is spine number 40, and this is a CAV release. And yes, there weren't that many special features on here. And there is also this one, which is the CLV release. But then there was this, which is spine number 320. So this was released again on another Criterion Laserdisc, but the spine number was different. And this had more special features on it. And so it had, let's see, it had the special features being the Rob Reiner reads excerpts from William Goldman's novel The Princess Bride, and also audio commentary by Rob Reiner, William Goldman, and company. So this is, and also there's a behind-the-scenes footage, production scrapbook, design sketches, and more. So yes, there is a nice set of Laserdisc supplements and special features. So this is really nice. With this Blu-ray that came out recently, what we have is the audio commentary featuring director and Goldman and Billy Crystal and Peter Falk. So this is, I think, the same audio commentary track. And then we have the audiobook read by Reiner. And then we have the new program about Goldman's screenplay, so that's new. And then we have a new program about Goldman's Tapestry based on his novel. That's new. We have archival interviews with Reiner, Goldman, and actor Crystal, etc. So there are some elements that are coming over from this Laserdisc, but for the most part, there are some new features on the Blu-ray, and this is a new 4K digital restoration of the film on this Blu-ray. So I could say that while a lot of stuff mirrors what's on the Laserdisc, there's still so much more that's stuffed into this Blu-ray. And so this is a really stellar release from Criterion. And to top it off, you've got the wonderful cover design and presentation, and for the most part it's nice. I have made a note about this glue incident, but that notwithstanding, this is a fine new issue of this film. The Laserdisc was really great, don't get me wrong, but this is really, for me, just a wonderful, wonderful treat in terms of the introduction of this film into the current collection. So my number 3 favorite new issue of a Criterion Collection Laserdisc title, The Princess Bride. Number 2, this is spine number 950. So this is the film, Some Like It Hot. Now, Some Like It Hot was this is spine number 74 of Criterion Collection Laserdisc. So this is a really nice, hefty box set. And the box set here has a theatrical trailer and an interview with Jack Lemmon. And this is an audio interview. And also there are home movies. And also there are some production and publicity photos. And also there is an audio commentary with Howard Suber. Okay. Whereas the new Blu-ray here, is very interesting because we've got, of course, the 4K digital restoration. We've got the same commentary track by Howard Suber, but we also have a new short program on the costumes, which is a really great documentary, by the way. And we've got 3 behind-the-scenes documentaries, and also we have appearances by the director on the Dick Cavett Show, and also a conversation between actor Tony Curtis and film critic Leonard Maltin, plus a French television interview from 1988 with actor Jack Lemmon, and an interview, a radio interview from 1955 with actor Marilyn Monroe, and a trailer plus an essay. So this is, again, another wonderful, hefty reissue of this film. The Laserdisc was, for its time, quite impressive, I would say. As a CAV release, you've got this lovely box set with an audio commentary track and other special features. So there is nothing wrong with this set. I love this Laserdisc, don't get me wrong, but this is a fine introduction of this film and a fine reacquisition, so to speak, of this film by the Criterion Collection back into its, back into the collection proper. And so I am so thrilled with this release, and I'm very happy to see it. And it is a fine, worthy successor to what came here with the Laserdisc, which I still love immensely. So again, my number 2 favorite new issue of a Criterion Collection Laserdisc title, Some Like It Hot. And that leaves my number 1 favorite, which is spine number 952. This is The Magnificent Ambersons. Now, this is 88 minutes, and this is, of course, the Laserdisc, which was back in the day, spine number 9. This is the CAV release, and in fact, there's another CAV release, which is right here. Oops. Excuse me. That's the other CAV release. Let's focus on this because for the sake of focusing on a particular title. Incidentally, there is also this, which is the CLV release, but let's focus again on this particular CAV release. So on the CAV release, you have the audio commentary, or it's called an audio essay here, by Robert Carringer, and also a visual essay in 3 parts called The Unmaking of a Classic, and also The Lost Ambersons, and also The Other Ambersons. And the Unmaking of a Classic is an essay by Robert Carringer, including production photos, original paintings of the cast by Norman Rockwell, and footage of Wells speaking on the place of the magnificent Ambersons in his career. Next is The Lost Ambersons, including a video clip of Wells discussing the new ending for the film, Orson Welles' own copy of the shooting script of the original uncut version of the film complete, and storyboards of the original uncut version of the film complete. Then there's The Other Ambersons, including excerpts from Pampered Youth, the long-lost silent film version of The Magnificent Ambersons, the Mercury Theatre radio show of The Magnificent Ambersons, broadcast in 1939, and starring Orson Welles as George, complete. Okay, so there is all this. So if we look then at what's offered on the new Blu-ray, we've got the new 4K digital restoration, and then we have 2 audio commentaries. So the first one is the same audio commentary by Professor Carringer that we had here, but also there is a second new one with James Naramore and Jonathan Rosenbaum. So that is a fantastic commentary, by the way. And then there are new interviews with Simon Callow and Joseph McBride, 2 Wells experts. And we have new video essays by Francois Thomas and Christopher Husted, and then director Orson Welles on the Dick Cavett Show in 1970, and segment from a 1925 silent adaptation of The Magnificent Ambersons, right? Segment from a audio from a 1978 AFI symposium on Welles, and audio interviews with Welles conducted by filmmaker Peter Bogdanovich. 2 Mercury Theatre radio plays 17 and The Magnificent Ambersons, plus trailer and essays. So this is quite simply a marvelous rendition or a marvelous presentation of this film. And I do love the Laserdisc so much. I will never get rid of the Laserdisc. And the features aren't exactly the same, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, the features here do have generally speaking, the same content as the features on The Magnificent Ambersons. There are some differences, of course, but for the most part, it is the same. And there are more supplemental materials here, which I think make this a worthy successor of this Laserdisc release. Now, I will never get rid of the Laserdiscs, and I will never get rid of the other Laserdiscs that I spoke of earlier. But when I'm talking about successors of the Laserdisc titles, and I think that Blu-ray is, of course, the current format for home video consumption. Of course, it might change in the future, but this is what we have. And so I think in terms of Blu-ray releases, these releases are wonderful, and I am so happy to see Criterion move in this direction with respect to slowly but surely trying to bring back the lost Criterion Collection Laserdisc titles. And I know I mentioned some things here about, for instance, Sex, Lies, and Videotape, how it didn't have a certain short film, but this is, I think, very minor criticism, because my general hope and wish is that Criterion continues with its with this policy, or with this plan to get as many of the Laserdiscs back into the collection as possible. I would love to see that, and so I am so thrilled with this year, seeing these 6 titles, and I hope that 2019 sees more. So thank you very much for that. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I will see you at the next category.